Good evening. Welcome everyone to this meeting of the full council, whether present in the Civic Centre or observing the meeting on Microsoft Teams on council's Facebook page. No fire drills are expected this evening, so in the event of an alarm sounding, please quickly make your way out of the building. There are 3 exits from this room which members can use to vacate the premises. Mobile phones should be switched onto silent or switched off, and any calls should be taken outside of the council chamber. Do not leave any possessions unaccompanied or report any unaccompanied possessions. Remember to take any possessions with you when meeting has concluded or as you leave this meeting. This meeting may be subject to filming or audio recording by others in accordance with council's filming protocol. Anyone who remains in the meeting following this announcement will have deemed to have consented to allow their image to be recorded and broadcast. I'd like to remind members to turn their microphones on when speaking and to sit back from the microphones to assist the audio recording. I will now turn to the published agenda. Item 1. Apologies for absence.
Chair, we have apologies from Councillors Clay and Councillor Callaghan.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Councillor Cole will be attending, but he's running late. He's on his way.
Okay.
Chair, I've got apologies from also John Metcalf and Mike Abbs.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. That's none? No, thank you. Item 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 3rd of March 2025. Please can I have a proposer? Councillor Coxhead. Please can I have a seconder? Councillor Henshaw, thank you. Are there any amendments? The vote will be by a show of hands. Those in favour, raise your hands. Against? Abstentions? Minutes have been approved. Item 4, minutes of the extraordinary meeting of the council held on 17th of March 2025. Can I have a proposer, please? Thank you, Councillor Coxhead. Please can I have a seconder?
Second, Chair.
Councillor Henshaw. Are there any amendments? Votes will be by a show of hands. Those in favour, raise your hands. Those against? Abstentions? Minutes have been approved. Item 5, minutes of the extraordinary meeting of council held on 10th of June 2025. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Coxhead. Please can I have a seconder?
Yeah.
Councillor Henshaw. No. Votes will be by the show of hands. Those in favour, please raise your hands. Those against? Abstentions? Minutes.
Chair, could I please record the meeting for the 4th of March? I was absent, so mine will be, abstention.
Minutes have been approved. Item 6, receipt of correspondence by the Chair of Council, elected Mayor, members of the Executive or Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, there are some bits of correspondence I would like to share with Council. So on the 3rd of June this year, the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, MHCLG, issued its feedback on the Local Government Reorganisation Interim Plan submitted on behalf of all of the authorities within Nottinghamshire. The feedback reiterated government's encouragement for areas to work together to submit a single proposal, whilst acknowledging the opportunity for individuals to submit their own proposals. Some of the key themes, I think, within the feedback that emerged were predominantly around the need to demonstrate how the new unitary structures would enable neighbourhood empowerment, with local areas being invited to come forward with proposals to create area committees and other engagement and decision-making forums. Obviously, just to share with Council, obviously the development and the journey of LGR will be a considerable item for Council as we move forward, but that was just to share the response on the interim plan. We also received some correspondence on the 20th of June, and we received a letter from Jim McMahon, OB MP, Minister of State for Local Government and English Devolution, and this was on the Fair Funding Review 2.0 and Council Tax Modernisation consultation. The consultation is open for 8 weeks, closing on the 15th of August, and officers will be responding to that in due course for Council's awareness. And finally, some other correspondence on the 3rd of July, we received a letter from Will Garton, who's Director General of Local Government and Growth and Communities, regarding the announcement of Local Government Outcome Framework consultation. Another consultation from Central Government, looking at a framework of outcomes linked to the spending review periods that look at how granting and underpinned metrics are set forward on key priority areas moving forward. The consultation is open and active until the 12th of September, and again, officers will be responding accordingly. Thank you, Chair. Chair. Two, Chair.
Thank you. In light of the recent changes in leadership in Nottingham County Council and the emerging proposal of the local government reorganisation, could the Mayor provide a clear assurance that the Mansfield Connect project, centred on the former Beals building, remains a viable project, and that Nottingham County Council remains fully committed to this implementation?
Thanks for your question, Councillor Camilleri. We have made great strides with the Mansfield Connect over recent months, and I'm pleased to share these details with you in Council this evening. We have received and reviewed structural reports which have offered the design team significant insight into the condition of the building, reflecting changes of design. These structural reports are under review to reflect any changes of the design that might be required. The latest REBA designs have now been issued for review with our occupying partners, which include the County Council, and this information will also be integrated into updated designs. A prior approval notice application for demolition of the link access bridges over Stockwell Gate between the former Beals and Co-op building and the Four Seasons shopping centre has now been approved. The work sits within the context of the approval that was given on the 19th of February 2025 for the advanced works by Kia for the removal of asbestos, demolition and site preparation works. The latter is now being contracted and preparatory works are already underway. I'm looking forward to sharing more on the detailed timetable with members and our town centre partners once concluded with Kia. A close relationship is being maintained with the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, given their support for the project. The project is unquestionably challenging, but remains a priority for the council. My officers are in close contact with the partners, and as it stands, following a recent meeting with Nottinghamshire County Council senior officers, we understand the County Council's position has not changed, being a full and contributory partner to the scheme. This project is so much more than the creation of an amazing accessible public service hub in the heart of the town centre. The development will be a catalyst for regeneration of our town and Mansfield as a place. The project, along with White Hart Street social housing development, are the building blocks needed to enhance and grow economic prosperity in Mansfield. I look forward to keeping the council abreast of Mansfield Connect's progress as we continue to deliver on the project milestones.
Councillor Camilleri, do you have a supplementary question?
Question, Andy, but I'll move on. With Reform's new leadership at County Hall talking about axing major capital projects in the name of saving money, isn't there a real risk this gets dumped as part of some headline chasing gimmick, like rebranding it DOGE, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, straight out of Elon Musk's failed playbook? If that happens, are we seriously telling Mansfield residents they should settle for being left behind again? The question is, when can we actually expect Mansfield Connect to be signed up with Notts County Council as real partners, because so we can crack on with it, and because it's been promised for so long? Because they've not signed yet, have they, Andy?
So we all know that it's a complicated project. It's an ambitious project. We effectively invested £2 million to attract nearly £30 million of investment. That is, that is a true catalyst. We know that if we hadn't have done that, Beals would it'd be a symbol, a tombstone. Private investors never come in. It's just be there as a mark of Mansfield left in the past. The professional work that's being done between our officers, all our partners, and the design teams are progressing it. Even the change in the fact that we did an advanced works contract for the asbestos strip and demolition, it's actually going to make the project faster in the long run, because you're actually getting rid of all the hazards first. So it is a complicated project and it is taking time, but until the actual full details, because we've got effectively a second phase of the project, which is the construction and design phase after the advanced works. Once all those details are through, then the legals follow. So it's moving forward, and but you can't go the horse in front of the cart. You've got to get the full details there first. Cart in the, yeah, one of them two anyway. I think you've got the idea. Until we've got that, all those details done, you can't do the legals. Okay.
Councillor Moxon's question to Councillor Whitby.
Thank you. It's been a long time since we've had an update on the so-called London flats in Clapham. This council has previously agreed to enter into settlements with leaseholders to secure vacant possession of the property. Can you provide us with an update on the latest position with regards to the remedial work required at the property?
Yes, thank you for your question, Councillor Moxon. Let me start by acknowledging the fact that the situation at Bedford Road, or the so-called London flats, has been an extremely difficult one, and it's a problem that this administration inherited. We've been working hard to resolve the legacy issues and put the scheme back on a stable footing. On securing vacant possession, our officers are currently working with external legal advisors to finalise licence agreements with leaseholders. These agreements will allow residents to temporarily vacate their homes so that the internal works can proceed safely and effectively. In terms of the external works, the council is in the final stages of negotiating a two-stage contract with Wilmot Dixon. The first stage, which is now underway, focuses on the design and enabling works. Once that's complete and the design is finalised, we'll be in a position to agree the final contract's price and move into the construction phase. The current budget estimates for the external works is 8.7 million. This figure includes a range of works, not all of which relate directly to fire safety. Some positive news, though, is that Homes England have approved a funding of the fire safety related elements, and I want to thank both Homes England for their support and our officers for securing this backing. It's a complex funding arrangement, and the final amounts we're able to recover will depend on the detailed scope of works and how that aligns with the grant criteria. Internal works are budgeted at 7.1 million, and we've also allocated around 2 million to manage the decamp process while works are carried out. These costs will be met through the council's capital programme. As with the external works, the final figures will become clearer once the design stage is complete and the contractors are fully appointed. We know that this has been an incredibly difficult and frustrating experience for the leaseholders who live in the properties. They've been left in limbo for far too long through no fault of their own, and they deserve clarity, safety and progress. Whilst the road hasn't been straightforward, I want to reassure members that this administration is committed to delivering the project, addressing the issues we inherited, and in doing so with care and financial responsibility, not only to make the building safe and compliant, but also to restore the standard that residents rightly expect and the council originally intended.
Councillor Moxon, do you have a supplementary question?
I do, yes. Thank you for Councillor Whitby, and I certainly appreciate that you're effectively just trying to clear up somebody else's mess with all this, and I'm grateful that you're on top of all that, you put in first the people that actually live there. But with all that in mind, and the sort of the ever-growing cost of all this works, would you agree with me that this proves the need for robust scrutiny of the executive and the cabinet of councils by backbenchers and opposition members?
Yes, I do think it needs a lot of scrutiny, and I'm surprised more questions haven't been coming forward by opposition members on this, because I'm happy to share what we can at the time. And like I say, it's a complicated process. Sometimes it's one step forward, two steps back, but we are getting to the final stages of what we need to do before the works start on site. So I would welcome any additional scrutiny.
Item 9, delegated decision by the portfolio holder for corporate and finance, revenue and capital outturn 2024 to 25. Councillor Whitby, please can you present and propose your recommendations on the revenue and capital outturn for 2024 and 2025?
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to present the outturn report for 2024-25, a year where, despite national pressures, Mansfield District Council has stayed on course. We've ended the year in a stronger position than expected, thanks to the careful financial management and considerations made at the beginning of the process almost 2 years ago for this particular budget. This foresight has allowed us to build resilience and resilience to support our future priorities. Our general fund balance stands just above the agreed minimum level, a modest buffer and a sign that we've maintained stability through difficult conditions. On the housing revenue account, we've balanced the books whilst using reserves to invest in new build schemes and reduce debt, showing that we're serious about long-term improvements for our tenants. We're recommending capital carry forwards for both the general fund and HRA to ensure that committed funding is retained, even where the delivery has slipped due to partner delays or project complexities. Despite ongoing cost of living pressures, recruitment challenges and uncertainty in national funding, we avoided crisis. We acted early, planned well and kept Mansfield on a steady course. Chair, I propose that the carry forward recommendations in section 2 of the report be approved by full council.
The seconder to the motion, please.
I second and reserve the right.
Are there any comments on this motion? Do you have any final comments?
I don't, Chair, thank you.
Just to thank our officers really for the work they've done. It's been not easy through quite turbulent economic times. So yeah, done a fantastic job.
I'll now put the motion to the vote by a show of hands. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Motion has been approved. Item 10, extract minute from the Governors and Standards Committee, Investment Strategy Outturn 2024 to 25. Councillor Bell, can you present and propose your report and recommendation?
Thank you, Chair. Before I present the report, which is just for noting, I want to say thank you to the officers and staff and my colleagues, members of the Governance and Standards Committee for their attendance and the relative questions that they ask. It makes it a very scrutinised meeting. I'll now read the report. Investment Strategies 25-26. The Treasury Management Outturn report for the 24-25 was presented to the Governance and Standards Committee on the 4th of June 2025. In summary, the report covered local authorities are required to approve an annual Treasury Management Strategy before commencement of each new financial year. Mansfield District Council approved its Treasury Management Strategy for 24-25 on 5th of March 2024, and this report communicates how the Council performed against this strategy. Section 4.4 discusses borrowing in the year. As per Section 4.4.1, during the 24-25 financial year, the Council took out no new loans. The Council's total borrowing stood at 56.3 million at the 31st of March 2025. The majority of this loan debt had been taken out with Public Works Loans Board, which offers preferential interest rates to local authorities. Section 4.5 discusses the Council's investments throughout the year. As per Section 4.5.2, at the 31st of March 2025, the Council had 17 million invested in financial institutions, the majority of which were held with other local authorities. Section 4.6 discusses the rate of return. The Council received an average of return 5.14% against an average base rate of 4.94% for the 24-25 financial year, as a result of the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee holding the bank rate at 5.25% from April to July 2024, then reducing it 3 times to 4.5% by February 2025. When investing money in banks and building societies, this Council sets high credit criteria, which reduces the risk of the Council not getting its investments back due to default. My apologies. During 24-25 financial year, the Council did not invest with any financial institutions which fell below the minimum level approved by the Council when it sets its Treasury Management Strategy. Thank you, Chair. I propose this to the full Council.
Can I have a seconder to the motion? Are there any comments on the motion? Councillor Hartshorn, do you have any comments to make?
Yes, I would, thank you. It's been a pleasure to sit on this committee. over the last year. And as the chair of the committee, Councillor Bell says the scrutiny has been outstanding. The work from the team at the council is impeccable. And I'd just like to thank everybody for taking part in that. And that also thank the chair for being the leader of the table. Thank you.
Do you have any final comments?
Me, Chair, I think Sharon said it all. Thank you.
I will now put the motion to a vote by a show of hands. Those in favour? Those against? Oh, abstentions? Motion has been approved. Item 11, motions. Are there any motions for this meeting?
Yes, Chair, there is one motion.
Councillor Swinscoe, please present and propose your submitted promotion. Motion even.
Thank you, Chair. So before I present this motion, I'm going to take this opportunity to commend and to thank the marketing and the comms team for their speedy and excellent response on social media. And I'm sure that other members of the Chamber would also like to commend them as well. Saturday, the 21st of June 2025, this council hosted a carnival that was embraced by all participants, fostering a spirit of inclusivity and celebration. Fortunately, in the aftermath of this wonderful event, a small minority of individuals chose to express their discontent through derogatory and unacceptable racist comments on Mansfield District Council's social media posts. In response to these intolerant remarks, the council promptly issued a public statement that unequivocally condemned racism in all its forms. This demonstrated the council's collective resolve to combat racism and bigotry. This council resolves that all forms of racism are swiftly addressed to ensure the continued safety of the public and to maintain the council's reputation. Chair.
Councillor Henshaw, please second the motion.
Thanks, Chair. I have pleasure in seconding the motion and reserve the right to speak.
Are there any comments on the motion?
Sorry, thought he was that with it. Yeah, fully support the motion. There's no room for racism or bigotry in any walk of life, no matter in our council life, but in public life as well. So fully support the motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Can you hear me? So I don't know how many of my colleagues in the chamber are aware, but I am actually mixed race. My father was Indian and he came to this country in the 50s and ended up working for Nottingham City Transport. I don't know if he experienced racism, but I did. As a child in junior school, I was called the P word by some boys in my class. My parents reported it to school. Boys were taken to one side. It was explained to them that that wasn't acceptable, and I never heard it again. And to this day, I personally haven't experienced any racism. Now, I looked a lot more Indian in those days with my long dark hair. I don't anymore. That's gone, long gone. I actually naively thought we'd left racism behind in the 1970s, along with platform shoes, flares, and the Bay City rollers, but clearly not. It's still there, but now there seems to be an emboldenment among people who feel unashamed to express their racism in public, on social media, and often face to face. I fully commend the council officers for their swift response to the vile, and it was vile, racism that appeared on those beautiful posts about the carnival. I thank Councillor Swinscoe for bringing this motion to us tonight, and I heartily commend it and support it. Thank you, Chair.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Stendhal.
I
Can-
don't.
Councillor Stendhal,
I totally concur with this motion. There is a need even within from school age across the board, adults who don't know how to address foreigners, full stop, whether it be about racism or anything else. They certainly don't know how to address it. I don't recall any training that we've had, but I know that we've all believed that we've all got the sense and knowing what to say and how to say it and when not to say it, not to say it at all. But I do feel that there does need somewhere along the line when we are doing training, we need to include how to address foreigners in the way that they should be addressed. Because I've heard it myself. I constantly correct people. I get some throwback from correcting people, but I won't listen to it. I believe it's my role to correct people when they address people with the wrong. I don't agree with any of this at all. As a person like many of you in this chamber who has travelled this world and met lots and lots of different people, I'm afraid there's no call for it. It doesn't move people forward. It doesn't move anything forward. It just takes us six steps backward. So I will be voting for this. Thank you.
Councillor Moxon.
Very much. I'd just like to say that I'm really proud of the comms team for the message that they sent out. Can't have been easy to stick their heads above the parapet like that and say what many people were probably thinking. So I take my hat off to them for that. I actually hadn't seen the original post and messages. The vagaries of the Facebook algorithm clearly decided that I didn't need to see the original message. But it did show me the comms team message straight away. So I went back and sought out those old messages, some of which were disgraceful, quite frankly. Now I get that people might be upset and might think that the council shouldn't be funding these kind of events. I don't necessarily agree with that viewpoint, but I do understand the point. However, the vitriol that the council was subjected to was far beyond scrutinising how the council spends its money. It's really incumbent upon all of us as community leaders to continue to fight racism and other forms of prejudice in our society.
Councillor Hartshorn.
Thank you. I'd just like to make a comment really that I'd like to hope that all our colleagues from all parties are going to support this up at county also. It would be good for us all to be standing together strong with this. It seems just lately that there's an increase in this sort of behaviour in this language, and it's absolutely intolerable. And for us to stand together, it would make a lot of sense and show how solid we are on this. Thank you.
Councillor Whitby.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I fully endorse this motion. What I found particularly good about the comments that this setting the record straight comment put out, the post that was called setting the record straight, was the number of other local authorities that immediately commented on that post, endorsing it. The number of organisations as well saying well done for Mansfield District Council for standing up and challenging this horrific language that we see. And it's not just certain posts that we see, it happens quite a bit, and I think it's up to us as community leaders to always challenge that sort of behaviour when we see it. There's a rise. It feels like there's a rise in xenophobia, and people need to look what that means. Look up what that means, and think about what they're writing when they comment, because sometimes it's just entirely inappropriate, and it's not the majority. It's a very, very small minority with quite a big mouth that's doing it. So yeah, fully support the motion.
Councillor Camilleri.
Everybody knows that I'm a foreigner by birth, by where I've been brought up. I've had discrimination over many years. I've been called Maltese this, Maltese that, Italian what, you name it, I've had it. And this is terrible. And I'd like to thank you for bringing it to the attention. I fully support the statement and the council's swift action in publicly condemning the racist comments made in the aftermath of what otherwise was a joyful and inclusive community event. It's deeply disappointing that a small minority sought to tarnish the spirit of unity that the carnival represented. That was true, isn't it? Sadly, this kind of behaviour is becoming more common in today's political climate, where some people feel emboldened to say whatever they like, often without thought, responsibility or consequence. I think there was something happened at Notts County Council. The councillor there had been said that being gay is a sin. That's not true. It's there, we've all seen it. He should really resign. Often without thought, responsibility or consequence. We see this reflected at the top of certain political parties, where leaders appear to normalise divisive rhetoric, targeting individuals, groups and minorities for particular gain, blaming everything on an immigrant, blame it onto me then. Blame all the ills of Mansfield onto me and a few more of us. No, it's not that. It may serve their short-term agenda, which it does, because some people fall for it, but the long-term damage it does to our communities, which we're seeing now, and social cohesion is significant and dangerous. This kind of behaviour must never be allowed to become the norm. It was a norm when I was a lad. Norm everywhere. P-word. All the time. You get used to it, but it doesn't come now. I think I've been turned down for jobs because of being what I am. Yeah. This kind of behaviour must never be allowed to become the norm. And I stand fully behind this council's effort to call it out. And I will always call it out. Condemn it and protect the values of respect, inclusion and decency that the vast majority of our residents share, and I support the most. Thank you.
Yeah, I've just got a couple of points really of accuracy, because there was things about funding. It's quite ironic that 3 years ago there was an article in the Chad about a black miner from Mansfield who worked down the pit, and he passed away, and his son Carl Case, who I happened to actually go to school with, I hadn't seen him for about 40, 50 years, and he was sorting through his dad's stuff, and he saw this picture. He was a lay preacher and a foreman down the pit in Mansfield area. And it was such a fantastic story. I put it forward down to Sean at our cultural services, and she used that as a formation for a bid to highlight. It was the Windrush year, three years ago, and out of that, our officers and our cultural services, we had this kind of mission about multicultural in Mansfield, you know, because we're a changing place, you can see, and they managed to get arts funding. So this funding hasn't come from Mansfield budget whatsoever. They got it because they put forward this case to the Arts Council, and we've got this extended funding that cuts across many different areas, of which our carnival came out of. And if you've been along to it year on year, it's got better. It's a fantastic celebration of food, costume, dance, and it's the sort of thing that brings society together. And it's absolutely shocking that this festival will be used for a racist attack, an attack on the council with regard to their budgeting, and going, why are you spending your money on this? Well, you know, it's not from our money. It's money that we've won from the Arts Council to bring our society together. So I feel very strongly about that. But the other thing is, it's all right for us in this chamber to acknowledge this. We've got to do it day to day and call it out wherever we see it, and whichever political forum we're in the street or whatever. Because if we don't, it'll just get worse. And as people have said, people are emboldened by this. Somebody says it and gets away with it. Next time you've doubled the number of people that are using this kind of inflammatory language. So in conclusion, our officers were really brave, put their heads above the parapet, and it's been great to have this motion brought where we can all really set the record straight on how we should all behave.
Are there any more comments? I will now put the motion to the vote. Sorry. Oh, you want me to ask? Yes. Oh. Sorry, dear. Councillor Henshaw, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Chair. I presume everybody can hear me with the microphone. I'm used to standing up when I speak, but in this instance, I'll follow what it says in the Constitution. Councillor Moxon, I totally agree with what you said. And also Councillor Hartshorn, I think it's our duty and all elected members' duty to challenge this sort of behaviour wherever and whenever we see it. I agree with Councillor Whitby as well, that a lot of this behaviour came from a small minority of people, but that small minority still needs challenging. Councillor Camilleri, I know me and you came from the same estate and grew up a few streets from each other. And I acknowledge what Ladybrook and the area was like in the days when we were growing up. But I think we learnt that the way forward with communities is that we all stick together and pull in the same direction. And the sort of attitudes and comments that came on the webpage were totally unacceptable, and we need to challenge them. I think events have proven, not only in Mansfield, but in the country in general, that there is an underbelly of distasteful opinions, distasteful attitudes, and behaviour that goes beyond the pale when we talk about these sorts of issues. We need to challenge bigotry and racism wherever and whenever we find it. And the elected mayor, I think we have to celebrate our cultural diversity, quite rightly, as you quite rightly say. That diversity makes us stronger. It makes our community stronger. It makes us all stronger as individuals. That diversity does not weaken us, it strengthens us. And I fully support everything that's been said in relation to commending the officers and their swift challenge, this sort of attitude and behaviours. And I'm glad that every councillor, well, I think every councillor in this room has not only an obligation, but a duty to challenge bigotry and racism wherever they find it. So therefore, I'm happy that everyone in this chamber, I hope, will be able to support this motion. I commend this motion to the council and hope everyone supports it. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Swinscoe, do you have any final comments?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I just want to thank everybody for their comments, for condemning this behaviour. And good to know that other councils did comment and on the post as well. And Councillor Hartshorn, absolutely, we do hope that councils, including Notts County Council, will follow suit, condemn any such behaviour that might appear on their social pages. Chair.
I will now put the motion to the vote by a show of hands. Those in favour? Against? Abstentions? The motion has been approved. There are no more items on the published agenda, and I close this meeting. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you, Chair.